hello out there, and I'd like to welcome you to Is Your Way in Your Way podcast. And I want to thank you, my listeners, for joining. And after and even in the middle of this, I know things are going to resonate with you. So I encourage you to share this because this is gonna be a game changer. The now let me tell you my intent. And I've been thinking a lot about my podcast, and I usually say it's about self improvement and primarily about your purpose, and it isn't ultimately about self improvement, or even it's not even primarily about purpose. You know what it's about? It's about freedom. You know, the freedom from the stories that no longer serve you, the freedom from the regrets, the freedom from living beneath your potential, freedom to become who we were always created to be. That's what this is all about. This is my intent for us to just get freedom and rise and just rise and do what it is you have to do before it's time for you to leave this earth. Now let me ask you a question. Now, now I'm asking you this because I've always thought of this for years. Have you been searching for your purpose? But something inside is holding you back. Now, I bet you've heard this. It's not about outside situations. It's about inside, right? And I used to get so sick of it. Like you can get what you want, but it's all on the inside. You have to tap inwards to get what you want. And I'm like, wow, that's something. So today, what we're going to do is explore how reconnecting with your inner wisdom can help you break through those barriers that stand in between you and the life you were meant to be. So joining me today is my special guest, Brigitte Dau. Brigitta Dau. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on this show. And I'm really excited about our conversation today. We are going to
I
have
am
fun.
too. I know because I know you're going to share some things that can help me. I'm still a work in process.
Oh, me too.
Although my book is Your Way in Your Way, and that's how I got the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
But I have to work on that thing every day. Now, what I want to do is I don't want to share so much about the credentials.
Yeah.
I want to talk more about the transformation you help people experience. But I will share a little bit because I'm like, well, what qualifies her to tell me this? Yeah, she's a coach, a soul coach, Reiki. I used to do that. Master. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's a transformational facilitator. And she does help people reconnect with their wisdom. And we're going to find out how she does that. She's even a co author for Landing on Your North Star. And she's got it countless people from overcoming those blocks, finding purpose, giving those people the freedom, giving them some balance, providing them some fulfillment. I'm telling you, and I love that. So in other words, she empowers individuals to embrace one simple truth. Change is inevitable, but growth is a choice. Hey, how about that? Change is inevitable. That's so true. And growth
Mhm.
is a choice. So we definitely have a choice. Now,
Yeah.
Brigitta, let me ask you.
Yeah.
I know that you started your young working life in LA. You were an actress,
Yeah.
right? You moved from Canada to LA, where you
Hmm.
felt opportunities were more abundant.
Hmm.
And so you did that for a decade. But I'm curious, why when you were working as an actress, was there a yearning inside like that wasn't it, or were you in your way to do the next thing, or what was happening because you transitioned from being an actress to do something else? Why,
Yeah.
what was calling you? Was anything calling you to do something different?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't think I knew it. Like I
Uh-huh.
can look back, like we can, once we get to a certain point in our life, again, if we choose to, we can look back and see, oh, here are the dots that connect, right?
Uh-huh.
So things
Uh-huh.
happened really, they did line up for me. But when I was very young, because I started acting when I was about 17 years old, I think, and I was on a series up in Canada. I was an international
Yeah.
series. It's great. I loved it. It was a wonderful career. I got to meet people. I got to travel.
Uh-huh.
I was working a lot. Now, Vancouver at that time was really a small industry town. So
Mm-hmm.
I did the shows up there. You know, when you're not filming on the show that you're working on, then you hopefully are guest starring on other shows. So I was on other shows, but the problem is, you know, like 21 Jump Street and MacGyver, shows like that, which were really fun. But once you've been on the shows, they won't have you back.
So you were on those shows?
I was on 21 Jump Street. I was on, I can't remember all of them.
MacGyver? Oh my
Cat
God.
Squad. I don't remember a lot of TV movies. But
Yeah.
but the thing is that those shows, they have a different person as the guest star, because, you know, if you watch the show, like I like those shows, so I'll watch them. I
Uh-huh.
can't have the same actor keep coming back and playing different characters, because
Right.
that confuses the audience. So it was really a choice. It was like, well, if I'm going to keep doing this, which I wanted to do, I have to move to a bigger pond,
Okay.
because I'd kind of grown to the point where, you know, what are you going to do here?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, Toronto was an option. If I want to stay
Mm-hmm.
film and television, Toronto was an option,
Sure.
or Los Angeles was an option. And I'm just going to tell you, the weather's better here in LA than
I'm
Vancouver.
sure.
And I was young.
Uh-huh.
But what was great about that, aside from just this experience of moving to another country, Canada and the United States, we are two different
Yes.
countries. Moving to another city, I was 20, 21 years old when I moved, so young. And kind of almost reinventing yourself at that age, when you
Mm-hmm.
barely invented yourself already. Like, you can't
Yes.
reinvent at 21, but I kind of could, because you're going to a new city. There are a whole bunch of life lessons that were going on there that I didn't realize. And one thing about moving to Los Angeles meant I needed to get working papers. I couldn't move to LA and work unless I had a green card. So, I, so
Sorry.
getting a green card was really hard. But it taught me, I learned this on the fly, basically: goal setting, asking for help, knowing what you don't know, like knowing you don't know certain things, figuring out what do
Yeah.
I need to learn,
Okay.
what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, how do I overcome obstacles, all these things that we do, which are life lessons, quite honestly.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
like in this one big package of get your working papers. And this was a long time ago. We did not have the internet. So those
Mm.
people who are listening and thinking there was a time before the internet, yes, there
Yep.
was. We had to
Sure
pick up
was.
the phone and call people. I
Uh-huh.
wrote people snail mail and said, can you please send me the articles that you wrote about the show that I'm on? Because I couldn't just go download things. That was not an option.
Right.
So what's interesting to me about that is I had to get out of my comfort zone. Being in my early 20s, late
Mm.
teens, in Canada, I had to ask for help. I had to go to people and say, will you do this for me? Now, that takes courage.
Yes.
And I do look back at that part of me, that, or the girl who I was in my 20s, and I marvel at it. I like, how did you know, how did you get past yourself, quite honestly? All
Yeah.
of those beliefs, those stories you're talking about.
Yes.
I got past my stories of why I couldn't ask people for help, why I didn't matter, why it wasn't important for me to do this, why I was going to make people uncomfortable asking them for help. All of the stories I had in my head, I just moved them all aside and just trucked on through.
But
And
that's not easy. I
no,
mean, was that an innate gift you had, or is it something that you're doing now? What process did you use to do that?
It's
That's
such an
easy.
interesting thing. I think that I had a goal that was so important to me. At that time, I really wanted to do the acting. I wanted to be an actress, and I
Mhm.
couldn't do it anymore where I was. So it's that moment where you choose. It's a real choice. I want this. And when you
Okay.
say to the world, to the universe, to God, to all the things, I want this, and I'm willing to
Okay.
do the work to do it, there's magic there.
Mm.
And I, on some gut level, knew you got to put your stuff aside. You got to get over yourself, and
Wow.
you're gonna because you need to. These are the things you need to do. The attorney I worked with said, "This is what you need to do. You need to da da da
Uh-huh.
da da." Da. So I did
Wow.
it, and
Wow.
so now in hindsight, anytime I've made big career jumps, even writing the book that's out now, but
Mhm.
anytime that I've made a big shift, I've had to take a good look at what are my beliefs, what do I think is to be true, what stories am I telling myself, which you were just talking about,
Mm.
and what stories
Mhm.
are going to have to go, or at the very least be suspended. And if there's stories,
Mm.
can I make up another story that's more empowering? What's going to have to change so
Okay.
that I can move forward in a way that works for me, because ultimately our beliefs, they're in our head.
Sure.
They feel
Right.
very real. They feel very real,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
yeah, but that girl at 20 years old who said, "Yeah, I can do this. I'm going to do this." Part of it was
Wow.
just being 20 years old. Part of it
Yeah,
was that,
I was
just
going to
like,
say that. You can do
you just don't know
anything at
any better.
20.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
you don't
yeah.
understand what failure feels like yet. You're like, yeah, no, it's going to be great.
Yet.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Because
and
what I want to do is, we get our topic is finding deeper peace with yourself.
yeah.
So when I read that and read your story, was there a time that you didn't have peace after your 20s?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And that's
Okay.
where all the work has really
All
been.
right.
I got to say, I mean,
Okay.
when things are going well, it's great. I mean, we want things to go well. However, it is that change is inevitable, growth is a choice. What are you going to do with this when
Mhm,
things are not going
mhm,
according to plan, which is a great amount of the time? I did go to LA. I come to LA. I'm here still. I worked quite a bit in film and television, and then it came to the point where I wasn't getting enough out of it. And
okay.
some of that was my career was shifting. Some of it was
Okay.
the business itself was shifting. A lot of different
Mhm.
reasons. But it was for me really a personal identity crisis, because I had thought, this is what I'm going to do. This is
Okay.
me. This is
Forever.
my
Okay.
definition. This is who I am. And
Okay.
then it was, well, no. And then, well, then what am I? Who am I? Because
Mm.
I had pinned my identity on this
Yes.
thing, which in again, in hindsight, thankfully I figured that out at a fairly young age, because that will strip you of your self-esteem if
Mhm.
you need to achieve a certain thing to feel like you're of value. That's a problem.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Which is all the work that I do now, which is forget about what you need to achieve. Yes, you'll achieve things we want to, but the point is, how are you showing up in your life as you
Okay.
achieve or as you don't achieve? How do you show up when things don't go your way?
But
And
how did you?
so,
But I'm trying to figure out for my listeners. How did you realize that? I mean, because I'm thinking,
mhm,
like in the beginning, I talked about. Have you ever been searching, for what is it? I know it's something else. I know
no,
this is not all, right?
mm,
So you were searching. How I know what you did at 20, but as you got older,
mhm.
how I guess is how did you overcome um internal blocks that you had because you had some.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. What were some of those blocks though? Because you already said, look,
yeah.
I I was smooth. I had freedom. I had no regrets. I'm not believing the story I've been telling you. So what happened? How'd you
Yeah.
overcome all that?
Well, the what happened was with acting, I mean, to go back to that one in particular, the work was drying up for me in a lot of ways. And I wasn't able to do the thing that I love doing, which was
Okay.
auditioning and acting. So it became very apparent. It was like,
Mhm.
your plan is not happening. The world was like, you're done. And it was
Okay.
devastating.
Okay.
And so, and interestingly enough, because I was so young when I started acting, again, I don't really know how I came to this. I really don't remember how I came up with this question to myself, but I think it's an important one, is what got you into this in the first place? And why are
Mm.
you still in it now? What are you getting out of
Mm.
it?
Okay.
And this to me is how you can, when you're going through whatever it is you're going through, to identify what is it that you really want to feel here? What is it that
Mm.
you really want? And in the case of acting, it's like, okay, I want to play all these characters. I want to, whatever. But at the end of the day, what I really was wanting at that age, what had shifted for me and why I considered walking away from acting, which was my identity,
Mm-hmm.
was I want to feel connection.
Okay.
I think, and here's when I started honing in on, I want something more than acting can give me. I believe that when I was acting, the work of someone seeing the show or whatever, I think that's healing. You're helping
Mm.
people heal because
Okay.
for whatever reason, they're exhausted at the end of the day. They turn on their
Mm-hmm.
favorite show. They like
Mm-hmm.
those characters. They feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. They feel safe. That's important. And I've
Mm-hmm.
always viewed actors as healers. Artists are
Okay.
healers.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
I think I saw that when I was in my 20s. When I was in my early 20s,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm doing my
Mm-hmm.
thing. But then in my 30s, I
Okay.
started realizing, no, 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 no. There's more to this than just
Okay.
showing up and being camera ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, okay, if I'm not acting anymore, what am I doing? I got to find a way to figure that out. How do I
Okay.
help people? How do
Okay.
I get in that game? And then I got
Okay.
into Pilates. And then
Okay.
from there, I got into life coaching. And then it's like, now I'd say, now I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it. And now I understand how even those tougher moments, and I've had, I've overcome bulimia. I gave up alcohol. I used to
Mm-hmm.
smoke 2 packs a day. That I gave up
Mm-hmm.
before I left Vancouver, though. That was
Mm-hmm.
practically another lifetime ago, but I did. It's the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
trifecta of disordered behavior right there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
those were the darkest moments, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Bulimia, without a doubt, eating disorders were. But that is, guess what? That's one of the things I'm most passionate about, is helping people
Uh-huh.
have a relationship with food, because I got through that.
You got through the food
And I
thing and
got
the
through that.
alcohol. Sure.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
those quote unquote dark moments to me are those opportunities of, what's your choice going to be here? What what
Okay.
what are we what are you doing with this, with what's going on right now?
So did anybody help you with that? I mean, did you have support? Like you said, okay, what are some of my dark moments? Because I can think of when I was trying to figure out me and I was older than 30. And I'm like, what? And I needed coaching. I
Yeah.
needed somebody to help me to
Yeah.
figure this thing out because it was baffling. My energy was depleted and it was
Yeah.
just weird. So did you have support when you transitioned?
Yes.
Okay.
So interestingly enough, with the eating disorder, again, this was before the internet, but
Sure.
we had figured out, I'll tell you who I found was Janine Roth. And she's an amazing writer. I don't know if she's written a bazillion books, and she's got a new one out about mothers. It's called Love
Hmm.
Finally, and it's about her relationship with her mother. I'm reading it right now. I highlight pretty much the whole book. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay.
So, and I am one of those people who will read a book, and I really am very good at taking it and applying it, because I like to.
So, okay.
Nerdy that way. So I'd read some of her books, and more importantly, Janine Roth was doing these things where it was on the phone. So it was a group chat on the phone. We didn't have Zoom yet. And I remember logging on, and this was when I was dealing with bulimia. And I logged on to the call, and I was freaked right out. And it probably helped me that it was only on the phone, because it was more anonymous.
Yes.
Because I was in a shame storm that just
Exactly.
wouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
like, I hated myself so much. And
Mm-hmm.
how the hell did I get here? How did this
Right.
happen? Who am
Yes.
This is not what I was put on this planet for at all.
Okay.
I am
Good.
way off the page, like
Sure.
so far off, right? And I
Sure.
get on this call with Janine and these other ladies that I assume are there. And Janine talks for a little bit, and then she opens the call up to women talking. And I started hearing women tell their stories. And
Mm.
oh my God, I was like, oh, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
alone. I'm not alone. Oh my
Okay. You had
God.
an epiphany. Okay.
Yeah, there's help here.
Uh-huh.
And then I literally followed her guidelines. She's got eating guidelines that are: eat when you're hungry, stop when you've had enough, which sounds very basic, but if you have
Mm-hmm.
disordered,
Mm-hmm.
to even
Mm-hmm.
identify if you're hungry or not is a big deal.
Okay.
To then actually eat when you're hungry, and then stop when you've had enough. Those things are huge. Those are
Okay.
life-changing things when you come from disordered eating. And I just started doing her program exactly because I was desperate.
Okay. All
And
right.
that created all the change. Honestly, I keep coming back to anything you do for me, it's the guideline of eat when you're hungry, stop when you've had enough. That's all I need all day long. Because if I catch myself starving and I'm not letting myself eat, something's going on.
Okay.
I'm not
Mm-hmm.
nourishing myself, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Where else
Mm-hmm.
am I withholding love from myself? Where else is this showing up?
Mm.
Because it is
Okay.
a spotlight into an
Wow.
opportunity for growth. So that's really the start of the healing journey, and that's the biggest
Okay.
pivot. That's when things pivoted. And then from
Okay.
that point on, it's just been go. I mean, it hasn't been like success. I mean, it's just been, oh, I'm on the healing journey. This is it. This is it. This is it. I know.
Mm.
As long as I'm on
Mm-hmm.
this path,
Okay.
crap can
So
happen, but I'm on it.
yeah. So it sounded like that it wasn't a Zoom call, but that call was an epiphany, and you're like,
Oh,
okay,
huge.
I
Yeah.
got those steps. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Now, because you were able to do that, tell my listeners um what does it take to create a life of great clarity, balance, and fulfillment. What does it take based on your experience and your coaching? What does it take?
It takes a willingness to be it takes a willingness to acknowledge that you probably will not be hitting the mark a good amount of the time.
Uh-huh.
And I think that,
Awareness.
yeah, it takes awareness because it's trimming the sails, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a plane that's mostly flying off course the whole flight, which is a little, you know, unnerving when you hear that.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it is. And what, all of the systems in place there are to keep nudging the plane back into the direction it needs to go because the wind and
Mm-hmm.
all the things are changing. That's life. So we
Mm-hmm.
head in a direction. I want to write a book. Okay, great. All the things are going to come up to get in the way. All the
Right.
stuff,
Right.
including internal stuff. The biggest
Okay.
obstacles are going to come up. Now, I just want to keep trimming the sails. I just want to keep nudging myself back
Right.
online. And to me, how you nudge yourself back in
Mm.
alignment, that's how you feel fulfilled at the end of the day. So then when you're exhausted at the end of the day, you're not exhausted because you're depleted. You're exhausted because you've been really showing up and doing
Mm-hmm.
the best you could in a
Mm-hmm.
way that really feels right.
So how would I'm gonna give you an example of myself.
Yeah.
I always wanted to write a book, and I was stuck for years. I was stuck because I didn't have freedom from thinking, what are people going to say? People are going to know my story. I don't want them to hear that. Then it was shame, and then it was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. And it took me years. So what's that nudge? You said I gotta nudge myself. What is that nudge that people have to do to say, as you indicate, somebody wants to write a book, somebody wants to start a podcast, somebody
Yeah.
wants to get out of a relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a gamut of things. What's that nudge like? Describe that to my listeners.
So the nudge to me is the inner knowing. It's when you know, and we actually write about this in the book, and I think that this is one of the things we've heard from readers. They love this. I've heard this from other coaches too. They're like this. They say, "I'm using this," and I say, "Great, use it." It's not mine. We came up with it we heard it from Elizabeth Gilbert, and
Yes. Mm-hmm.
it's the not this moment.
What was that? Eat, work, and pray, Elizabeth?
Yeah, her.
Okay.
She's just an amazing writer and an amazing
Yes.
person. And she
Uh-huh.
says everyone has this moment where they wake up one day and they say, "Not this." We
Okay.
know it, and that's
Right.
me before the Janine Roth
Okay.
call, right? Saying,
Okay.
"This is not it. If this is
Okay.
what I was put on this planet for, this is pathetic. Like, no, this is not it." And there's shame, there's self-hatred, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Not this. So
Mm-hmm.
we all have those moments, and I think so. If there's a nudge, if there's a part of you that wants to write a book,
Mm-hmm.
the nudge is saying you got more in you. There's
Mm-hmm.
a little more to your life now. And even if
Mm-hmm.
no one reads it, even if you just write it for yourself,
Uh-huh.
write a book.
Right.
And so then the nudge is also listening to that. I think that is a practice actually of listening into your desires and saying, as I was saying before, owning it and saying, I really want this. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. I haven't a clue. And I don't know if anybody's going to care if I do it or not. Maybe no one will read it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I really want to do it. And
Okay.
then you can feel, and even as I say that, I can feel there's a part of me that's like gets kind of excited. It's like, oh, we're
Okay.
going to do it, or we're going to do it. And then that spark of enthusiasm,
Uh-huh.
that's what you want to cultivate every single day. Take a step forward. Just do one thing
Okay.
every day.
Okay. Okay. So it's kind of like, okay, for me, I knew within that I'm going to write this book. And once I said that, and I was so sure, I started getting phone calls from a friend that said, I know an editor. Just like, bam. I'm like, oh, okay. So, so that kind of stuff. So now you deconstruct self-sabotage. You talked a little bit about that. So you have empowering tools and habits that can help people manifest to their true self. So before we talk about an example, how do you define self-sabotage? Because a lot of people, that's a word. Yeah, everybody talks about self-sabotage.
Yeah, self-sabotage.
And it came out when that pandemic was, I think, all of a sudden,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. To me, self-sabotage is when we have those stories, like you talked about at the beginning,
Yeah.
these
Mm-hmm.
internal beliefs. They can be real or not, they can be truthful or not, but nonetheless, if you believe it, then it's a belief that
Right.
you when those get really loud and they start calling the shots. And what those things will
Mm.
do is they will either internally or literally physically start throwing boulders in your
Mm-hmm.
pathway to slow
Mm-hmm.
you down or completely derail you altogether.
Okay.
So, you know,
Okay.
a classic example would be someone who's heading towards an interview and they're really excited about it and they're daydreaming and they're not paying attention. They rear end the person in front of them.
Oh.
Now, now that could be just sabotage. That could be, or it could just be life. Life happens. Life gets lightning
Yeah.
sometimes.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
it could be you just threw a big old obstacle in your way. You're like, you could have been paying attention to the road. What happened? Were you sabotaging yourself? Or, and
Mm.
sometimes, and I think there's a discernment there too. If sometimes it's just life, just
Right.
tossing a boulder in your way, like,
Mm-hmm.
great,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yippee. And I'll give you a more specific example of a boulder that I avoided is because we talked about this before we went on the recording is we had a big fire here in Los Angeles
Right.
over a year ago. And we ended up staying at some friend's place because we just were a little uncomfortable. It's getting a little close. And the house that we were staying at was their extra house. So we were blessed to have people who have an extra house.
I know.
That's
No.
amazing. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I opened the refrigerator and there was a half open bottle of wine in the fridge.
Mm.
Now I don't drink. I haven't drank in about 3.5 years. And I looked
Yeah.
at the wine and I thought, if ever there was a time, now would be.
I know.
I could
That's
have a drink
right.
right now. This is
That's
crazy.
right.
And I thought to myself, this would be a boulder. This would be me taking a situation that's already not great. And we're in the
Mm-hmm.
most blessed possible
I
position.
know.
We were wonderful. And
I
yet we
know.
were stressed. And I thought,
Okay.
if I do that, I'm going to it's like taking a giant rock boulder and just putting it right in front of myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was a test that you passed. I
Because I saw it was like, ooh, and nobody would know. I mean, it was all the makings of a perfect opportunity
Yeah.
to sabotage myself.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
will know. I'm entitled. If ever there was a time to have a drink, now would be a
That's
nice
right.
time.
Especially now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all of it. And I could probably be okay with everything. And those voices are coming up, and that's just old stories. And I said,
Mm-hmm. Right.
no, as difficult as this is, I want to stay present for it because there's growth here. And the person who I am now, who I show up as, stays present for this.
Right.
I stay
Good.
present.
Right. And you obviously reframe a lot, like
Yeah.
when your thought. And I love it when you said become curious opposed to being judgmental.
Yeah.
Yeah. What tell me a little more about that.
That really, I think if we could all just do that with ourselves, the
Mm-hmm.
world would be in place. It just would be.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's take eating for an example. Let's say I have worked my way through 2 boxes of cookies.
Yeah.
Didn't need 2 boxes of cookies. Probably didn't even want 2 boxes of cookies.
Yes.
But I can get pretty hard on myself and say, okay, my doctor's going to get all over my butt about my cholesterol,
Right.
sugar.
That's right.
My own waistline is going to let me know in a few days about
Mm-hmm.
how it, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
all the things, right? I'm going to get
Okay.
fat. All the feelings, all the harshness, the inner critic of how weak and awful I am because I did this, blah, 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 all the things. We know that voice. I don't need to review
Yeah.
it with. So that voice, or the opportunity is to be curious, say, what on earth was going on with you?
Yeah.
Sweetheart,
Like, why are you eating this like this?
Sweetheart,
Yeah.
what were you doing? Like, were you
That's
angry?
good.
Were you upset? Were you feeling less
Mm-hmm.
than? Are you frightened?
Mm-hmm.
Is something's wrong? Something's wrong. What's not
Good.
right?
I love that. Be curious opposed to being judgmental.
Yeah.
That's really good. So listeners, I want you to think about that, as you're like, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I shouldn't do this. Oh, they may not. Just be curious. Why are you saying that? What's going on? And it's kind of like, yeah. Like you said, like what's the difference between carrying what is yours versus carrying everything else? You talk about that.
I talk about that. That's a big one. That's about boundaries. That's about setting boundaries.
Okay.
And a lot of us women,
Okay.
I'm going to make the sweeping statement here that women, we tend to have a harder time with this. I will speak personally. My mother did not model setting boundaries for me. We had the
Okay.
opposite of our household. There were no boundaries.
Okay.
My mother just,
Anything.
yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about that. And here I'm wondering why I feel like I have no control over my life. Well, because I had no agency. I wasn't saying no to anything.
Uh-huh.
And
Mm-hmm.
learning to say no is really hard at first. In fact, I felt like a total bitch sometimes when I was just saying no.
Yeah.
I was sticking up for myself, or I was speaking on my own behalf.
Mm-hmm.
I could say no for someone else. I could say,
Right.
I don't, your time is valuable. I can set boundaries for other people.
Exactly, but not for you.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that that's where saying what's mine is, I'll take this on, and noticing like what's on your to-do list that isn't yours to do,
Right.
which happens. It
Of course.
happens to all of us. And sometimes there are times in your life where, let's say you have children. Well, you got some stuff on there you're going to have, like, you're just going to, it's got to be
Yeah.
fluid. It's got to be a fluid thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
However, some days you can say no.
Right.
That's a practice. That's that
Right.
until it
Or
becomes
procrastinate. Right. Or just like, okay, I'm gonna procrastinate. Right. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Right. So I
yeah.
love that. So when I procrastinate, I'm like, I'm curious. Why am I doing this?
What am I doing?
Because
Yeah,
I don't want to deal with it. Yeah. Why not? Yeah. Exactly.
yeah. And even
Exactly.
what you were saying about your voices about why would I write a book? Like, who's going to read it? Just be curious about who's that saying that? Where'd you
Mm-hmm.
get that from?
I
Like,
love that.
who told you that your voice was important?
Yeah.
Right?
That's
And
good.
so and I'm not saying it as a judge, because I could be critical of myself. I could say, well, who told you?
That's right.
Who are you believing? You're still
That's right.
stuck in your old shit. See, you're never going to get any better, and blah blah blah. I
Mm-hmm.
could go there,
Mm-hmm.
or we could just stay real curious and go, who
That's
told
right. That's a great, great takeaway. I love that. Now, because attention and energy are, you said they are resources.
you? Absolutely.
Yeah. And then you said, so the question is to consider when one gives their attention to one thing, yet chooses not to give it to
Yeah,
something else.
that's right. That's right.
Okay.
If you think of your energy as money, it's like a
Mhm.
budget.
Yes.
Now, if you got $100 and you're spending $30 over there, that means $30 is going to that and not something else.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically allotting, this money goes here, this money goes there.
Mm-hmm.
And I view your energy, and I'm a Reiki master, so I love woo-woo energy too. We can talk about that, but most of
Right.
it, I'm talking about real life, your waking hours, your energetic level that you bring to your day. You only have so much of it, and it's different for each and every one of us. I'm 55 years old. I don't have any aging parents in my world right now. So that's
Mm-hmm.
different. A lot of people do. They have parents,
Exactly.
they have kids, they have kids with special
That's
needs.
right.
They
That's
have a
right.
spouse who's unemployed right now. There are a lot or they're single, and they're trying to, a single mom is not going to have the same
Mm-hmm.
kind of energy as someone like me at this point in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
it's important to honor, where am I? What do I have? And it's a resource to not be squandered. So I look at
Mm-hmm.
energy as valuable as money. So even my husband and I have talked about things where if something's bothering him, I'll say, how much sleep are you going to lose over this?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's important.
Yeah.
Is this going to keep you awake tonight? Because if it is, then it's worth you setting up an appointment, even if you have to pay for that appointment, to get some help with this.
To get some help with why
With
he's
whatever
losing
it
sleep.
is. Yeah,
That's right.
with whatever it is that's going to keep you up tonight. How can you
Yes.
get help with that? Because you losing a night's sleep is going to cost you your energy. That's expensive to me.
That is. That
To
is.
me,
That's
that's
good.
more than money. I mean, you need money too, but it's a resource.
Sure. I
I think
got you.
people forget that. It's like renovating a house. I was listening to a guy. He was on talk radio, a podcast, and he was talking about renovating a house. And he said, you have time, you have money, and if you don't have money, then you have to make up for it with having the time, right?
Mhm.
And if you have all the money, well, then you can
Right.
make things quickly. But if
Right.
you
You can
don't,
get to pay somebody or something.
that's
Right.
right. You pay someone
Yeah.
to make it happen, right?
That's
But if
right.
you don't have any money, if you're building it yourself, then you have to have the time. So that's your
Mm.
resource. So when you
Mm-hmm.
start looking at it as this is the money, this is the resource, then you get very focused and very clear about what am I willing to do? What am I not
Mm.
willing to do? What's taking
Mm-hmm.
my energy? What is what's depleting my energy and versus what do I want to put my focus and attention on? So
Yeah, and do something about it if it's
yeah, does that make
depleting.
sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. A
Yeah.
lot of sense. I want to do like for you to do like a call to action for
Okay.
my listeners in regards to tapping into wisdom through the barriers that are standing between you and the life that was meant for you. So
Hmm.
how can my listeners, a few examples of how can they tap into their wisdom through those barriers standing between them and what they were created to do?
I love that. The first step is to see what is the barrier really without the story attached to it. So is this really something that's standing in front of me? Is it a door that is closed at the moment, literally?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it an internal barrier? Is it something that I'm making up in my head?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really clear. It's important. Are we dealing in the real world or are we dealing with our internal world?
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
it is an internal world issue, or if there is any internal world issue going on there, lovely. Again, bring out that curiosity and go, aha.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then this issue now, this boulder that has been placed in my way, is an opportunity for me to see things differently.
Mm.
And then you can
Mhm,
brainstorm.
mhm,
Then
mhm,
you have some options there of how do I want to approach this?
mhm.
I
Okay.
know, probably you've noticed this too with the things you've done, not just with the book, but even with the podcast. Sometimes coming at things head on is not the best choice.
Mhm,
Sometimes taking a step back, noticing what do I have to share? What's my value here? How can I
mhm,
bring the most that I have to contribute to the situation? Is it by going head on, or is it coming around from a side or
mhm,
angle or over top?
mhm. Yes.
What am I not seeing because I'm so focused on this barrier? There's another exercise, Glenn McIntosh, who's an Australian food psychologist guy who I also follow. He talks about if you're really enmeshed with your problem, whatever the problem is, the obstacle, it's like your hands are right in front of your face. And all
Mhm,
you can see is right in front of your face. So if you can
mhm.
start to peek around your hands, now you see other things. And now you can actually start to
Okay.
move it away from you. You have you have
Okay.
room, you can see a whole bunch of other things around the
Um,
problem. So the problem's
mhm.
still there. We're not pretending
Sure.
it isn't there. But
Yeah.
what else is there at the same time?
Mhm,
And now we
mhm,
can compassionately with curiosity go, huh,
mhm,
okay.
mhm.
Now some of the
Right.
ideas may not fly,
Right.
but you're not without choices.
Right.
You all have that choice.
And that goes to our title, talking about finding deeper peace with yourself. Like you indicated, the barriers, like what has you stuck? What are you pondering over? Know, to be curious and also be aware that you're doing that. So once you're aware, that's key.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then some of the things you talked about, you read. I mean, some of my listeners may read and some don't, but
Yeah.
for me, I know my limitations, and if I'm
Mm-hmm.
stuck and got barriers, I will listen to different podcasts while I'm walking or while
Yeah.
I'm exercising. That
Yeah.
encourages me to say, okay, I got it, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Opposed to I switch my thoughts, what I'm listening to, who I talk to. That's
Yes.
so important because I'm not in the frame of mind to talk to this person right now because I'm going through something, or vice
Yeah.
versa. So
Yeah.
I love your approach, and I know that my listeners are going to listen to this again and start using that approach, like the hands. Okay, you're blocking yourself. What's over here? You're missing
Yeah.
something. Just like opening the refrigerator. You drink. Okay, all right. Why am I wanting that? That's a boulder. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
So you have
Yeah.
to steadily talk to yourself.
Yeah. You do. And and with the compassion, I think that's the other piece that's really important with it. If you want to override the critical, because the critical part of us is helpful. It is helpful,
Yes.
but it shouldn't be in charge.
Yes.
It's just like it's a board of directors. I remember reading Tony not Tony Robbins. No, it was I'll think of his name after this. It'll pop into my head. He wrote a book called Recovery 2.0, and he talked about the shitty committee, he calls it. That's in his head, the shitty committee. They're the ones that come up with the shitty ideas. And I joke about that, but sometimes a bit of humor can go a long way and go, oh, that's the shitty committee again.
Absolutely.
Tommy Rosen, that was his name, Tommy Rosen.
Okay.
I knew it would pop into my head. The shitty committee, and so now it's kind of funny. You're like, oh yeah, there it goes. And I always think when I hear myself with those thoughts of, that thought will pop in of, why don't you just blow off the day and go into like, or don't bother returning the call or whatever, just that part. That's sabotage.
Right.
Then I can take a moment and say, well, isn't that interesting? What part of me is coming forth here right now? Thank you for that. And I can tell you sometimes I will say to myself, I swear to God, I will say, thank you for sharing.
Yes.
And then I move on anyway.
That's right. That's right.
They're not going to like you. You're going to embarrass yourself. Thank you for sharing. Moving on.
That's good. That's good.
So I think what's important is with that hand exercise, for example, with the seeing the obstacle, I'm a big fan of reality, and the problem may very well really be there. So there's a fear if there's a part of me that's saying you're going to embarrass yourself, nobody's going to like you. I don't have to say that part doesn't exist. I can say, I see you. Thank you for sharing. I'm good. I got this. I'm going to go do it anyway. Now you can have both. And that's a compassionate, humorous, fun, curious way of moving forward. And I think it feels safer at the end of the day, because really all that part, all it's doing is trying to protect you from embarrassing yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Brigitta.
That's okay.
I tell my listeners how they can get in touch with you.
Oh, thank you. Well, easy. I'm very easy to reach. My website is my name, BrigittaDau.com. And you can contact me. You can DM me from any of the socials I'm on, but also you can, there's contact information there, so you can email me, ask me any questions. I do so much work online. I'm very accessible. So I love, and you can tell I love talking with people. So reach out. Anybody wants to reach out.
About connections. Yeah. You talked about connections, even though the acting could be healing for those that are looking, but you had a desire to make some connections, and you're doing that. And I applaud you for that. And I thank you so much for being a guest on my show. And I'm going to ask this question to my listeners, and even for me and you, Brigitta, is your way in your way? And if you want freedom, if you want to find a deeper peace with yourself, re-listen to this podcast. So again, Brigitta, thank you so much. God bless, and bye for now.
Thank you so much.
Yes.